Hello viewers, welcome back to the ASLEAD Institute Servant Leadership Podcast. I take this opportunity to wish you a happy new year. I know, yes, we are already a few weeks past, but because we are coming back, I'm here to wish you a happy new year. My name is Daisy Mutai and I'm your host for today. We are glad to have you back. We are also glad to have our director with us. I will allow him to introduce himself later. But for now, I want us to think about how we are running our country. The pioneers of CBC are now in grade 10. There are very many stories that we are hearing. Some of them are not stories at all. Some of them are things that are paining us, paining the parents, because when you hear there are children who are not yet in school because there was a gap somewhere, it is something that is really painful. We've heard of books not being there. We've heard of finances not being available. So today, we are going to look at an aspect that we take to heart in ASLEAD, stewardship. Stewardship is one of our modules. We do have Module 6, which covers stewardship as a topic. And to help us expound on this topic is our very own director, Dr. Peter Mulinge. And because I know there are some of us who are new to this podcast, I will allow him to introduce himself and tell us what ASLEAD does. So join me in welcoming Dr. Peter Mulinge.
Thank you so much, Daisy. It's a great joy to be on here again to come and talk about what ASLEAD is all about, what we do, and what we foresee for this country. And not even for this country, is for the world. ASLEAD vision is we foresee a generation of servant leaders who lead for the sake of others. And what do I mean with that? Is leaders who put the interest of others ahead of their own interest. Or maybe leaders who put the interest of the country ahead of their own interest. And it's all about, we are talking about selfishness versus selflessness. That is what we are talking. And I'm so excited to discuss with you the concept of stewardship, because I think that is one of my best topic that I like teaching. Because I always say this, leadership is about stewardship. And there is no leadership without stewardship. You know, this thing is like a mother and a child. You know, there is no mother, there is no child.
True.
There is no leadership, there is no stewardship. Yeah. So I'm so much excited to expound to us on this topic, and thank you again for having me.
Great, great. Such an exciting topic. And so that you know that we are actually studying stewardship, I'm going to read a paragraph. And it's good that you're the one who authored this manual. Stewardship is perhaps a term that is not commonly used or referred to, especially when talking about leadership. The act of stewardship is one duty we all perform, irrespective of the positions we occupy in our daily life. So, Daktari, how do you define stewardship?
You know, when I sat down and I wrote this module, as I keep on saying, me, I'm a scholar in leadership. That's where I've spent most of my time doing a lot of research on leadership. And when I sat down and researched on this module on stewardship, I asked myself, what makes a leader to be a good leader? And what makes a leader to have a greater impact or influence in the society? And I found nothing less than being a good steward. Because when you try to think about leadership, and you know, we cannot separate the leadership from God, because God is the author of leadership. And God is the one who calls us into leadership. And if we may check back on the creation, when God created everything, he brought in Adam, a leader, and he gave him a responsibility of a stewardship, to steward what he had created. And again, when we look into the Bible, we also see from Psalms 24:1, God is saying, or maybe the psalmist is saying this: God is the owner of everything, and anything that dwells in the earth. So you find that whatever we see and whatever we have here on earth, it belongs to God. And when God calls people, a leader, into leadership, the mandate that he gives him, or he gives them, or he gives her, is a mandate of leadership, of stewardship. So you find that we come into leadership to take charge of the thing that belongs to another person. And I think that's why that's why people, they crave, or maybe they talk more about leadership, and then they rarely talk more they rarely talk about stewardship, because leadership is like is like a generic name.
Yeah.
But when we come to stewardship, that is where the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
That's where there is an action. You know, you can be a leader, you can become a leader, but what are you doing as a leader? Yeah. So I think for me, I look at stewardship as where the action is where one really proves it to become a good leader. That's when actually we can test it. That's where the test of a leader is. Not in the leadership, but it is in the act of leadership. And that act of leadership, it is stewardship. Wow. Because when we come into leadership, most of us, we don't come to leadership to lead things that belongs to us. Yes. Or maybe to lead an organization that belongs to us. At the end of the day, 99% of the earthly institution, they don't belong to us. They belong to either another person, they belong either to a country. So when we come and occupy that place of leadership, we are coming to oversee, we are coming to take care of things that does not belong to us.
Yes.
And ultimately, even the things that we say they belong to us, at the end of the day, they don't belong to us.
Ours.
They belong to somebody else. And this person is who? Is God himself. So at the end of the day, you find that you cannot escape the concept of stewardship. And that's why actually stewardship means a lot to God, and it means a lot to any organization that we find ourselves in. And you brought about the concept of CBE.
Yeah, CBC.
CBC,
Although now
sorry.
I think it's called CBE.
Yes.
They keep changing.
They keep on changing. You know, as guys who went through from 1 up to Form 6, we have problem with all these terms.
Yes.
But anyway, even when we look into education sector, and everywhere we look into, even if we go to health sector, even if we go to the economy, treasury, all these things, we find that there is a practice of stewardship there. And when that is not handled clearly or maybe the right way, then there is a problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I do want to believe this, because you brought up the concept of CBC. I do believe that there was a failure of stewardship.
Yes.
The way there was let me take us back to the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
When there was a failure of stewardship in the Garden of Eden, things never went the way they were supposed to go.
Yeah.
There was a problem. Because God here created Adam,
Yes.
and he puts him in the Garden of Eden, and he tells Adam, tend this and keep it. Two very, very important responsibilities that Adam was given by God. Tend and keep. What does that mean? Tending is to continue taking care of it. Keeping is functioning it, or maybe making it to fashion, shaping it to become the way it is. And when we think about any leader who comes into position of leadership, at the end of the day, he has got those two responsibilities, tending and then keeping.
Yeah.
That is taking care and continuing to make it become better than he found it.
Absolutely.
And I think this is where leaders fail. When they come to the office, they are given responsibilities.
Yes.
And when they are given the responsibility that they are given, when they don't tend and they don't keep, then they fail. And that's why we have problems.
Yes.
We have problems because leaders, they don't tend, they don't keep. And they fail even in leadership, and they fail in their responsibilities. I want to say this. Responsibilities are given, but the responsibility is taken.
Okay.
Responsibility is given, but responsibility is taken.
That is powerful.
The giver is the owner.
Okay.
The taker is the steward.
Is the steward.
So the steward is given a responsibility to tend.
Yes.
Is given that responsibility to tend.
Yes.
So the steward takes the responsibility to keep it.
Yes.
So like in the case where we seeing and the question that you are coming in, I want to believe there was a person who was given the responsibility.
Yes. Absolutely.
To tend the process of CBC.
Yes.
But they failed to take responsibility.
Yes.
Because if they took responsibility, I think we wouldn't be seeing the way things are today. Maybe there was somebody who slept somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to say who slept somewhere, but when we see the problem that we are having with the parents who are taking their kids to grade 10, we realize that there is somebody, there is a steward who slept on their job. They never took responsibility. And that is when leaders fail to take responsibility in the right way, then there is problem. Yes. And there is there comes always confusion. Yes. And the people start fighting, and then at the end of the day, who suffers is the common person.
It's the common person.
Or maybe the follower, or somebody who actually got, who is not in a position of leadership.
I like that. I like that, and it actually leads to my second question, because when we talk about stewardship, who and what exactly are we stewarding? Because the person or people who slept on the job for grade 10, there's a gap. There's a gap there. It could be maybe they didn't know what was expected of them. Maybe they didn't have enough power to make the decisions they needed to make. Or maybe they didn't have the resources. So what are we stewarding? Especially because we cover the government, we cover the education sector, the health sector, we cover even the transport sector. So maybe you can just help us expound on what are the expectations of a steward. You've been given a mandate. So what are some of those things that we are stewarding?
I want to bring it back to God in the Garden of Eden, because everything that we do here on earth stems from the Garden of Eden. What we see today is as God is a shadow of what we see in the Garden of Eden. Remember when God gave Adam a responsibility,
Yes.
or when he made him a steward, God made everything suitable.
Yes.
He gave every tool. He never gave enough tool.
Very true.
He gave Adam everything he needed.
Yes.
Everything was that Adam wanted was at his disposal.
True.
So when we try to look at our God, who is our God and who is our ultimate leader, as a leader, when I'm giving responsibility to my people, have I prepared them? Have I equipped them?
Yes.
So for this thing, we can, when a steward is not well prepared,
Yes.
when a steward is not given what he is supposed to be given,
Yes.
then he cannot take full responsibility. I think we have heard that concept to people being
Yes.
told, take full responsibility.
Yes.
When a steward is not prepared well, when a steward is not given what he is supposed to be given, how will he function as a good steward?
Yes.
Adam was given everything by God.
Yes.
And when he was given everything by God, then Adam had to take full responsibility. And I want to say this, maybe the government did not prepare the stewards well.
Yes.
Maybe the higher authority did not give the stewards, people who are going to implement CBC,
Yes.
full tools to work.
Yes.
And that's why you are seeing
Yeah.
the problem, the confusion that we are seeing. Because
Yes.
I do want to believe that if the government gave all what it was supposed to be given,
Yes.
I think the implementation of CBC would be seemingly smooth. So sometimes we can keep on blaming the steward instead of blaming the owner.
Yes.
Who actually, when we are given, especially when the country,
Yes.
or maybe the leadership of the country,
Yes.
or the government of the country,
Yes.
at the end of the day,
Yes.
it is the owner. So when the government fails and it gives responsibilities without really providing the necessary tools, the end product will not be good. The steward will have hard time taking full responsibility.
Wow. I love that. And I'm looking at the principle of responsibility. And even as we close this session, I'm going to read just 2 lines so that I welcome Daktari to give us his closing remarks. But this topic is going to continue. This topic will continue. There's a sentence here that says every relationship comes with responsibility, and it's just echoing what you've been saying. Responsibility has a moral obligation to fulfill a duty. So everybody has been given a mandate. But as leaders, we have to equip them to be able to do that. So we will continue this discussion next week. But before then, you can just give us a closing remark. And you know, I like it that Genesis 2:15 is here. also reflecting what you had said, the Lord took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. What can you tell us as caretakers, as overseers, as leaders, as even children in the home? What final remark can you give us so that we can begin stewarding what God has given us?
You know, everyone, I always say this, every person who is on earth was given a responsibility by God. They came up with a responsibility that they were given by God. Because God never creates idlers.
True.
God never creates people just to come and live here on earth for the sake of living.
Yes.
He brings people on earth for a specific responsibility. Yes. So everyone, it doesn't matter where you are, you could be the president, you could be whatever position you hold, even a mother, even a school kid there, a prefect there, everyone who has got breath,
yes,
they have a God-given responsibility.
Yeah.
What I usually say, they have got both the legal and the moral authority given by God.
Okay.
Today, I have a legal and a moral authority given by God to take care of my family.
Yes.
And also to take care of ASLEAD.
Yes.
So these are God-given responsibility. It is me to wake up and take good responsibility, full responsibility. And when I perform that, then I'm fulfilling God's desire and God's purpose on me, whom He created. So, and I think one day, all of us, we shall appear before God. Everyone, regardless of position that you are holding. Remember, some have been given higher responsibilities.
Yes.
Others have been given whatever responsibility you are given. You know, some of these higher, we feel that, and the Bible is clear. It says, whoever is given too much, much will be required of him.
Of them.
So, what to those who have got higher responsibilities and they don't take full responsibility? Because I think they will receive a higher measure of accountability before God.
Yes.
Because they have been given higher responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, let's bring it close here. I am the CEO.
Yes.
Of ASLEAD.
Yes.
The measure that God demands from me is higher than the people who come and work in ASLEAD.
Yes.
The president of this country before God, the requirement that God wants him is higher than you.
Yes.
So I think when we get this knowledge is to approach any leadership position.
Yes.
Might be a church leadership,
Yes.
might be a political leadership, might be a father, mother position of leadership or responsibility, or maybe a CEO, or maybe a CS, or maybe a politician. We must approach any positional responsibility that we need to get with the whole.
Yes.
Because there is something that will be demanded of us. And at the end of the day, I think sometimes I always say, I wish there was somebody who went there to come back and they tell us what happens there, because
yes.
some of us, we desire this position,
yes.
They may tell us some stories and we say, I don't want it.
It is better to be a local mwananchi.
It is better just to be a local.
Yes.
But even when you are a local mwananchi, there is still a responsibility that you've got to take.
Wow.
So no one would stand and say that, oh no, there is nothing.
Yes.
I'm a free man. I'm a free woman. No, everyone, and the biggest responsibility that we have got to take
yes.
is about our personal life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Mulinge.
Thank you.
it is such a sobering thought, knowing that each of us will be held accountable, because the fact that we have been born, that by itself comes with a responsibility. So we wish you a wonderful time of reflection as you think through the things that God will require of you and how you are answering for them, because every day is a day that you are expected to steward something that you have been given. See you next week.